With Anniversary servers already deep into their final phase and the Burning Crusade confirmed for early 2026, we're at a point where the future of WoW Classic is starting to look more predictable than ever. And honestly, Wrath of the Lich King in 2027 isn't just possible, it's likely. So let's start with Blizzard's focus on development. With Blizzard recently confirming that the Classic team will be focusing on the Titan Reforged servers for the next year, the chances of seeing Classic Plus immediately after TBC have basically gone out the window, at least for now, and that actually makes sense. The trilogy of Classic WoW, Vanilla, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King, feels like the natural cycle Anniversary servers were meant to progress through. It gives Blizzard plenty of time to cook up Classic Plus behind the scenes without rushing it, while still keeping the community active and engaged progressing through the trilogy. Unlike Season of Discovery, Anniversary isn't about reinventing the wheel, it's about reliving the original journey from start to finish. So why does Wrath in 2027 make sense? It remains one of the most beloved expansions in the game's history. It brought massive nostalgia, incredible subscriber growth, and a ton of defining moments for players from Naxxramas to Icecrown Citadel, and it also brought one of the most important changes, a new class, the Death Knight. But more than that, Wrath acts as a perfect bridge for what Classic Plus eventually could be. Many players consider Wrath the last true classic version of World of Warcraft. Right before Blizzard started leaning heavily into modern systems like the automated group finder, revamped talent trees, and streamlined leveling. So having Wrath released in 2027 would give players that final hit of nostalgia, while setting the stage for whatever Classic Plus might evolve into. Now, how could Wrath be streamlined? If Wrath does arrive on Anniversary in 2027, there's a strong chance that Blizzard won't follow the exact same pacing as they did back in 2019. Anniversary servers have already shown that Blizzard wants to keep things moving with shorter phases, faster progression, and a focus on accessibility. So it's very possible that Wrath Anniversary would follow a similar pattern: quicker phase rollouts, condensed raid cycles, and maybe even boosted catch-up mechanics to help new players jump in mid-progress. We already saw Blizzard experiment with this with 2019's classic progression. In Wrath, they increased loot drops from bosses to help players gear up faster and keep raids from feeling stale. They also introduced Titan Ruin dungeons, which offered higher difficulty and better loot as a built-in catch-up system. Those were a huge success for keeping older dungeons relevant and giving latecomers a way to close the gap. If Anniversary Wrath runs at a tighter schedule, Blizzard might double down on both of those ideas, ensuring raids feel rewarding, gearing stays fast-paced, and progression never slows down. Essentially, Anniversary could deliver a streamlined Wrath experience, all the iconic content, but with modern pacing, smarter loot systems, and fewer roadblocks between phases. So what happens to Anniversary after Wrath? That's the big question. Once Wrath runs its course, where does Anniversary go from there? Does Blizzard keep progressing, rolling into Cataclysm and beyond, or do they stop at Wrath and run Anniversary into a permanent classic trilogy cycle? I think Blizzard won't push Anniversary past Wrath. Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria were the start of the modern era of WoW/retail. They don't fit the nostalgic vision Anniversary is built around. So it makes a lot of sense for Anniversary to either reset back to vanilla every few years for fresh starts, or it remains a permanent trilogy server, looping through vanilla, TBC, and Wrath before restarting the cycle. Both of these options keep players engaged, preserve the nostalgia, and let Blizzard focus entirely on developing Classic Plus as its own experience. Now, here is the other question. There's another angle here: China's Titan Reforged servers. These servers are Blizzard's new reimagining of Classic, level 80 scaling, legendary upgrades, and rebalanced gameplay systems. And while it's launching in China first, it's still a massive part of Blizzard's overall classic roadmap. So the question remains, what happens after Wrath regarding these servers? Could Blizzard evolve Anniversary into a Titan Reforged style version once the trilogy cycle completes? Or do we finally see them pivot completely and release a true Classic Plus, one with new zones, added class features, and brand new content built within the Classic world. That's really the fork in the road Blizzard faces next. Does Classic's future lean toward a modernized rework of the old game, like Titan Reforged, or a true continuation of the Classic world to Classic Plus? Either way, once Wrath wraps up, we're entering an entirely new chapter of Classic WoW, one that could define the next decade of the game's legacy. All in all, I personally think if Blizzard plays their cards right, we will see a full-fledged Classic Plus reveal somewhere in 2026 or 2027, with a possible launch in 2028. In the meantime, Anniversary will continue on through its natural progression, and after Wrath of the Lich King, we will most likely see a permanent era realm for Anniversary. It's a timeline that just makes sense, it's a smooth progression for players, and a smart development strategy for Blizzard. Now, during the making of this video, a photo has been circulating online about a possible leak of Classic Plus. Someone did post an apparent timeline of what's to come for Classic WoW regarding Anniversary, and the announcement of Classic Infinite. I felt this is appropriate to talk about since many other content creators are pushing this possible leak, and since we're talking about the progression of Anniversary, I felt this is fitting. Now, this apparent leak states that Anniversary will become a permanent Wrath of the Lich King era realm. I speculate that they will be a trilogy realm where they potentially rotate through Vanilla, TBC, and Wrath, or they take from Titan Reforged. This photo also says that Classic Infinite will be a fully realized Classic Plus with alternate content, and the timeline of this server is influenced by the Infinite Dragonflight. Apparently, the Blood Elves will become a neutral race for both Horde and Alliance, and a new Spellblade class that can play tank, healer, or DPS. Most importantly, this photo says that Classic Infinite will be revealed at BlizzCon 2026 and launched in 2027. Now, I will say again, this is all speculation. This photo has been circulating on Reddit and the forums, but this is all just currently speculation. But what do you think? Should Blizzard stop Anniversary at Wrath and reset the cycle, or keep it as a forever Wrath of the Lich King realm? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoy classic discussions like this, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, come check out my Kick stream where we talk all things World of Warcraft. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Got a single frost vulnerability, holy.
I got 99.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice. Mana igniting cord. That's this for me.